Good morning and welcome back to Almus Market Mornings. For a change, yesterday I saw Chair Powell let out a chuckle as President Trump said that the only thing he wants is for the Fed to lower rates. This happened during the president's visit to check out the Federal Reserve's renovations, which has garnered some eyes due to its cost overruns. Moving on, yesterday ECB kept rates on hold. Looks like it may be difficult to expect more rate cuts out of them based on the commentary we are hearing. India and the UK signed the FTA. Now we wait for the deal with the US. And geopolitically, a border dispute between Thailand and Cambodia has flared up. Thai F-16s have hit Cambodian military sites. There's also artillery and rocket fire being exchanged. Good morning, JK. Lots happening around the world for what was supposed to be a routine Thursday. What's your take?
Good morning, Swaraj. Yes, it's a bit strange, would you expect the Indian Prime Minister to visit, any such instances of mismanagement or overrun, cost overruns? No, I would never do that. But that is the kind of difference that we are seeing in Trump administration. President directly visiting Federal Reserve Office to check up, the cost overrun allegation, and apparently nothing has come out of it. And the only thing he would have achieved is probably personally conveying his preference for more rate cuts or early rate cuts. So we are in a totally different way of policy management as far as US is concerned. Markets are not really concerned about these things. They're carried along. Yesterday we had some data to chew upon. There were PMIs from various regions. It gave again an evidence that the US is perhaps doing much better than all others, despite all the challenges that we are talking about. Europe was not bad as well, and UK was steady. But definitely, US economic activity, particularly in the services sector, pushed up the composite index to 55, and that's a multi-month high actually. And the fact that this has been holding up despite manufacturing facing some challenges is something to be taken note of. Another point of data yesterday was the weekly jobless claims. It again fell yesterday. This is the fourth week that it has fallen, and the lowest since April. Again, all the concerns about employment, facing downturn, he's not really held out by these numbers. And of course, the one caveat is outstanding claims, which was higher, and that probably is an indication that people out of jobs is they don't find it easier to find an alternate job. So that's one aspect of the job data that we can take note of. Other than that, the markets are now looking forward to a few data points today, as well as a host of central bank activities. Like yesterday, we started with the ECB meeting, as you said. No change in the rates. The forward guidance is hardly any indication for market to conclude whether there will be another rate cut or not. There was even a mention about passing reference about euro strength, but again, nothing conclusive whether they are okay with the current level or not okay with the current level. So the ECB meeting done. Then, of course, we have the two big meetings next week. That is US and Canadian central banks meeting on the same day, that is 30th of April, 30th of July. And both the central banks are not expected to change their rates. US and for different reasons, of course. Canada has been easing for quite some time, and then, of course, held on. But today also, sorry, this time also they are expected to hold, but there is expectation they would cut going forward. Economy facing some challenges. Yes, of course, so much has been written and spoken about their monetary policy, the divergence between the view of the political setup and the central banker. Whether Powell expresses a different view on the economy, considering that inflation has not been rising as fast as people had been expecting, and also the economy is also not slumping as as deeply as was being forecast. So whether he would once again try to balance or or lean slightly towards supporting growth and not keeping rates so tight. So that is something that we will wait and see. Of course, we also have some more data from UK on the retail side. So UK is another central bank where, of course, the recently concluded meeting showed no change in the rates and no definite forward guidance, but slight leaning towards supporting growth. Today's retail sales number from UK would be very important because numbers so far, particularly on the employment and GDP, was disappointing, and the retail sales also maybe another support for UK to look at another rate cut. We had the CPI number from Japan today. The headline as well as the core CPI came down slightly, more than expected. So that's actually justifying Japan probably holding on to the rate right now. But on a broader picture, the inflation is well above their target of 2%. And how long they will hold on? Perhaps they are keeping it at the lower level, expecting some challenges from the tariff. Although the US-Japan trade deal has been signed, broad global market or global economy's response to the tariffs, which are now settling at around 15% to most of the countries, is what they would like to assess. I mean, the next move from Japan is definitely going to be higher, but the timing is not certain. As far as India is concerned, yes, we had the PMI, which was once again strong. On the on the foreign trade agreement, it has been welcomed by analysts from both the countries, and particularly India. There are quite a few sectors which are benefiting because of opening up of exports from India to UK. Most there is free permission to export Indian products. So tech sectors like gems and jewelry are definitely going to take it with both hands. Definitely, of course, there are also some challenges for some sectors in India, particularly the auto sector. And alcoholic, and more importantly, there will be a competition for Indian companies bidding for government procurement contracts, because the UK suppliers have also been allowed to participate. But most of these have a medium-term impact, no immediate impact on the forex market. And with the dollar index still weaker, rupees inability to gain based on that is really something to be taken note of. So it does show an inherent weakness in the rupee right now. Lack of flows, uncertainty about US trade deal, as well as the sanctions against some of the Indian refiners, importing Russian oil. These are the challenges. Of course, the flows have been very tepid. In fact, this week we have seen quite a negative flow as far as equities is concerned. So that's keeping the rupee on the defensive side. It could continue, and of course, 86, 86.50 broad range, perhaps a break of either can see another 30 to 40% movement. I think most important thing to look forward to, as you mentioned, also is the US-India trade deal, which would happen any day. And of course, before that, we could see the European trade deal with the US also. Thank you.
Thank you, JK. And I think when that comes to the PMIs, broadly, it was a positive numbers from various countries, US, EU, UK. Remarkably, even the services side of the US PMI showed a very solid number. So overall, for a country which is faced with a lot of policy uncertainty, it is doing fairly well. Even the weekly jobless claims fell yesterday, lowest since April. Though outstanding claims was higher, which indicates people out of jobs may find it difficult to get opportunities. So job market, I think, somewhat remain mixed. Even earlier, we had the unemployment rate tick down. So overall, again, with a country facing so much policy uncertainty, it's fairly doing well. When it comes to the ECB meeting, there was no change in rates. There was some passing reference about the euro strength, but largely commentary remains inconclusive. We have the Fed and the Bank of Canada rate decision next week. When it comes to India, our PMI was also quite strong. FTA has been taken positively as exports open up from India to the UK. Rupee continues to remain weaker, however, trading at the weaker end of the range. And the US-India trade deal would be closely watched because that's something everybody is awaiting. The details everybody is awaiting. That's it from us today. Thanks for listening. Have a good weekend. We'll catch up on Monday with the fresh round of updates.